The Nigerian Premier Football League, guys, that's where we begin conversation this afternoon. We hear the president of the Nigerian Football Federation, NPFL, Haji Ibrahim Musa Gusau, has extended the tenure of the interim management committee of the Nigerian Premier Football League till the end of this season. Now, the NFF president said he decided to extend the IMC's tenure in order to allow the team to concentrate fully on the organization and management of the ongoing NPFL season, which is only heading to its match day 3, or from the weekend. It can be recalled that the NFF president had inaugurated the interim management committee of the NPFL, headed by Honorable Benga Legbele, on the 21st of October 2022, with an initial mandate of 3 months and a slew of terms of reference aimed at engendering a new life generally for Nigeria's elite division. Well, it's early days, Mari, but looks like the changes and, of course, the blueprint is very, very evident. Well, just a little over 3 months in, what do you make of the job Honorable Benga Legbele and his team have done in revitalizing and, of course, repositioning the Nigerian Premier Football League, as it's now called?
Yeah, Bright, remarkable and commendable, basically, because you look at the problems, and then they had a clear-cut project. First up, outline the problems and then find solutions to the respective problems, and then they talked about the problem of hooliganism. Then the solution was 3-point deduction for any team, caught snapping. And then the referees were also a huge problem because of their wages and remuneration not being met by the LMC, the former body in charge of the NPFL. And then we saw the stories about the referees being paid, and then 50% rise in their wages. And then thirdly was basically fundings for teams, to be able to execute games. You know how strenuous it is, to travel from different parts of the country to see games, moving from north to south and vice versa. So, and then we saw stories of NPFL clubs getting take-off grants, to start. So clearly, bulk of the fundamental issues that clubs were facing, the IMC had somehow found a way to fix them, and that was quite commendable. So I think it's just right thing to do to extend their tenure until the end of the season, and then maybe let's see what happens on a more consistent basis. If they'll be able to uphold these particular standards and statutes, and then probably when we want to set up a proper management board and get Legbele and the rest of them to be a part of the thing. But so far so good. I think they've done a remarkable job, and we're seeing it basically. We're seeing our wins. We're seeing and it's just early days basically, but we're seeing that people travel to the north and then they get wins. Look at what happened, between Bendel and Plateau United. They traveled to Jos and then got a win. Akwa United were at Nasarawa, at Jos as they played Nasarawa United, scored 3 goals, and then there was nothing like anything. Gombe United, dropped points at home for the first time since 2019. That was just a couple of days ago as well. So it clearly looks good. The officiating is improving. Then we're seeing people take responsibility, and that for me should be also credited to the brilliance of Benga and his team.
All right, now, due to time factor, the MC opted for an abridged format of the 2022-2023 Nigerian Premier Football League season, with 10 clubs in Group A and 10 clubs in Group B. The current season is scheduled to end in May. Now, let's look at the league action proper now. Solaractive Indemnity Insurance stayed unbeaten in the Nigerian Premier Football League, edging Akwa United at the Lekon Salami Stadium in Ibadan. Now, Imade scored the winning goal in the 25th minute. It was a second goal in 4 league outings for the Benin. So now this particular season, Insurance are unbeaten on the road with 2 wins from 2. Now, in just Akwa United thrashed their host National United by 3 goals to nothing. So it's Promise Keeper's first win of the campaign. Different if you've netted twice, while James Ajako scored the other goal. Another away win was recorded at the Umaya Township Stadium, and Louis Stars defeated Abbey Warriors 1 goal to nothing, with Kumaga scoring the decisive goal 56 minutes in the clock at the Elka City Stadium. Rangers were forced to 1-1 draw by Shooting Stars, by Sunshine Stars at Bedford Pardon. Rangers went in front when Osimhen put the ball in his own net in 11 minutes. So Ibrahim Yusuf equalized for the visitors 9 minutes before the break. Rangers missed penalty in that game as well. So full-time results in the NPFL. Akwa United 3, National United 0, Rangers International 1, Sunshine Stars 1, Abia Warriors 0, Lobby Stars 1, Plateau United 2-1 win is over Yimba. Will come from behind win rather for Plateau United. Alchemy Warriors 0, Gombe United 0. Akwa United lost against Bandit Insurance to stay perfect with a 1-0 win. Bayelsa United beat Wiki Tourists by 2 goals to 1, while Doma United beat Dakara by 1 goal to nothing in the games seen over the course of the weekend. Now, let's talk about Akwa United recording their first win in the Nigerian Premier Football League for the season, and winning away from home 3 goals to nothing.
Well, Brett, first up, a very massive win for Akwa United, considering the fact that they did that away from home, grabbing all 3 points and also scoring 3 goals in that particular game. But if you ask me, I would say that, Serie A United have always been, a victim for Akwa United. Last season, they were humiliated 6-0 at the Nest of Champions in that particular encounter. But Brett, this is the problem I have, without Lifreke, if you're scoring 2 goals in that particular game, clearly no other striker, will want to, involved in the party as well for Akwa United. So that's still, a very huge responsibility for other players to see how they can come in probably to chip in those goals, because this is a brave vision of the league. We need more goals. We need, we need it to be a collective. We don't need it to be, we need to be a teamwork as well. So other players scoring goals as well. The defenders, the strikers. Last season, the defender for PlanetSports United scored more than 6 goals in the league as well. So that is what we want to see, in Akwa United as well. They won the NPFL. I want them to show, champions quality as well. Not only winning this, I know they have 4 points on the log as well. That's pushed them up forward. But right, I want to see it on a more consistent basis as well. I want Akwa United to score loads and loads of goals, because it's just the abbreviation of the league. The goal scoring responsibility shouldn't just be on a particular player. The team should work together and see how they can maintain and get good results when it really matters for them as well. Right.
All right, now, the results in NPFL from match day 3, which of them caught your eye, Mike?
Well, I think it has to be Akwa United first up, because it was the first win. After 3 match days, they recorded, every single result they can get. They've gotten a draw, gotten a loss, and of course got a win. So it was good. It was
a perfect start for them.
Yeah, well, not perfect, but more like an inconsistent start for them. But it was a good way to get themselves back on track, because after that loss against Ben Insurance in match day 1, there was so much talk about the quality and the synergy, that was lacking in the team due to the incoming players, the players that arrived in the squad, basically. So I think, there was some level of improvement against Ayimba in match day 2, and then we've seen some level of even more improvement in the third leg, in the third match day, defeating Nasra, a good 3 goals in a particular. And it was good to see the returnees back for Akwa United. Olisema played a particular game. That was his second debut for Akwa United, if you like, and he was quite fantastic. Had a hand in, the third goal Akwa United scored through the Freke Effiong. The Freke Effiong also was a returnee, had a brief stint in North Africa, and has come back. And Solerex was talking about, the fact that we have struggled to score goals. I think that's basically why we brought Ndefeke Effiong back to the team, because we realized that we're missing an attacking driver. We're missing a point finisher, a man who understands what it means to score goals for the team, and that's why he's come back to the team. And I mean, you see him; he's had an instant impact at the Akwa United. Scored twice in his first game since returning. To clearly shows you quality. I'm looking forward to how the team gets consistent, because over time we keep talking about the fact that Akwa United, barely starts well. Probably drop points in the first 3 games and then pick up the pieces later on. So right now, I think they should move on, because it's a 19-game league. It's not a full 30-season league. We're talking about an abridged version where you don't have enough time to drop points and then probably recover in the next few games. You have to get the points as much as possible. And for a team like Akwa United, they should be looking at qualifying for the Super 6 playoff and maybe getting to win the competition if possible. So that should be the conversation. But so far so good. I think it's good recovery, and there's a lot of improvement from the team that played match day 1.
All right, now, so let's quickly leave, Akwa United and possibly Dakar had their first loss of the season. Where Doma United. Let's talk about Bendel Insurance, the surprise package in this particular season. It's 3 games. It's early days, but the signs are here. The side are hungry. They're determined, and of course want to make their mark in the Nigerian Premier Football League, as it were. And this man, Imad, is scoring 2 goals now.
Highest goal scorer.
Well, and it's looking very good. Well, it doesn't matter where they play. They're getting the point. They're second away win of the season, following what they did at Nest of Champions in match day 1. Now, they're walking into the Lekon Salami Stadium in Ibadan and edged out Akwa United by a goal to nothing.
Well, Brett, first up, a lot of fans will say it's just Bendel Insurance, but you need to consider the opponent as well. Akwa United, last season they represented Nigeria in the CAF Champions League as well. They clearly have experience and they know what the job is all about as well. But last season, this was how Remo Stars started. We were saying, okay, fine, just Remo Stars doing their normal duty. But Akwa United were the only team that went away from home to defeat them in that particular encounter. So, but it's clearly poco a poco. Start and see how you can get those necessary points as well. They have 9 points on the log, right? It just gradually they're getting there. You can never tell where they'll finish. But I just love the fact that the team are just showing good efforts. They are very resolute, getting those points, doing the needful, doing the properly, the defenders doing their job as well, and also getting vital results in both home and away. But I just love the fact that Bender is coming back from the NNL have been able to show that they also want to contest and also probably win in their brief version of the league. So, but kudos to the team and the management. I just hope it continues for them.
Right, in your first 3 games, in returning to top flight football, defeated 2 of the top 4 teams that in the top 4 last season. Plateau United got to win match day 2 goals to 1. Got to win against Akwa United as well, by a goal. And it shows you quality. It shows that this team are not just here to joke. Yes, people might talk about early days, but like Soleric said, Remo Stars began like this. They were unbeaten at some point, and then we kept saying where they'll drop points. They dropped points, but never left, the circumference of the top four.
Yeah.
And that was how they ended, qualifying for a
Probably
continental.
their aim will be playing the CAF Champions League as well.
Definitely. Well, but the sad thing about Ben Insurance might be that both of these players might leave them probably in the mid-season at the transfer window, because look at a player like Imade, scouted through, I told you, HIFL. Was quite fantastic for the University of Benin when they were playing HIFL, and then he's qualified. He was good enough to play for Ben Insurance, and that's the point he was saying. So maybe he gets a better deal, leaves Ben Insurance to another team. Might be a problem for the insurance, because it's good for them. He's got creativity, knows how to score goals, knows how to carve out spaces for himself. He needs to shoot, so it's a fantastic player. But I think Ben Insurance are not here to joke, and they've showed it in the last 2 Premier League games.
Well, Brett, first thing, just to add to what Maria said, after match day 3 in the NPFL as well, but I think I'm quite satisfied, with the way things are going on. Considering last season, they have scored 56 goals in this after match day 3 compared to last season where less number of goals were scored in their particular game. So, but I also need to give kudos, to the LMC as well, for them probably getting the best out of
the IMC.
The IMC, sorry, getting the best out of this particular version of the league. So let's just see how it started just after match day 3. But I just hope it continues, right?
Right, match day 3, and of course 3 away wins recorded. And we're looking forward to more glorious stories from the NPFL. But very quickly, let's listen to Coach Ayodeji Ayeni giving his assessment following that 3-0 win away from home, and of course how the season has progressed for the Promise Keepers thus far. Coach Ayodeji Ayeni. Right, so that's Coach Ayodeji Ayeni talking. Well, one thing is very, very glaring. Well, even the coaches themselves can't hide the excitement. Coach Ayodeji Ayeni is the main focus there, talking about the excitement of playing an open league. So it doesn't matter where you play. It's about fairness in terms of officiating, and of course it's about giving everyone the chance. Well, I saw the highlights of the game this particular morning, and it was myself, Mari, and Blyden.
Yeah.
And there was a penalty call, and I looked at Mari and said, well, last season
That's a clear penalty.
some seasons ago, that's a penalty. There's no debate about that. But the referee, had the guts, and of course, stuck to his guns and said, well, there was no contact, and that's not a penalty, and stuck by it as Akwa United cruised to that 3-0 victory. Well, it's early days, and we're just hoping that things continue
Absolutely.
in this particular life. But before we leave the story of the NPFL and potentially allow the fans to join the conversation, there's absolutely talk about a man whose season, hasn't begun in a glorious fashion. It's a big name as far as Nigerian football is concerned, but the season has gone from bad to worse for him. His name is Abdul Maikaba, former Akwa United, of course, former Plate United coach, is now coach of Rangers International. Well, the story is that the man is willing to quit the Flying Antelopes for the team's poor start to the season. The Flying Antelopes are still looking for their first win of the campaign after they were held to a 1-1 draw by Sunshine Stars at their makeshift home ground, the Oka City Stadium, yesterday, Sunday. Now, substitute Christian Naji fell to beat Sunshine Stars goalkeeper from the spot 4 minutes from time, and that proved very, very vital because the Coal City club currently rooted to the bottom of Group B after claiming just 1 point from their opening 3 matches. They opened their campaign with a 2-0 defeat to Abia Warriors, the Oriental Derby, and then lost 1-0 to Lobby Stars last week. Well, it's the abridged version of the league, Mari, and then many will talk about the fact that, there's no time to even check time, but it's Abdul Maikaba, and you want a man to turning around. Well, this is one of the sure guys in the Nigerian Professional Football League. It was then called, and now the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Yeah.
But you think Rangers, the hierarchy, should stick with him a little bit and give him time? You see him transmogrifying their fortunes?
Yeah, right. He's a man that's got quality, basically. From Akwa United, won, the FA Cup with the team, and then went to PlanetSports United. 2 seasons spent there, helped him qualify for the top 4 in those 2 seasons. And before then, 2016, we helped Wiki Torres play the CAF Competition Score for the first time in their history. So there's a lot of quality. I mean, his track record speaks for him as well. So I think it's just a case of the poor start to life. Look at last season for them. They finished in the 5th position, just 2 points above, Akwa United, who obviously qualify for CAF Competition Score. So they are not entirely a bad team. They don't look like bad. I just think it's a bad start, structuring start to life at the season. It's just a thing of concern for Negro just because of the fact that it's an abridged version. You don't have that much time, to recover. That's why the Enugu Rangers fans are quite concerned about, the start to life. But I don't think it's entirely a thing of concern. They might get themselves back on track in the next game or in the next 2 games, basically, for me. And I understand the frustration that comes with not having a good start, especially for a team like Enugu Rangers who have bet themselves, as one of the big teams in the NPFL. So there's a lot of quality expected from them and a lot of expectation to the shoulders. But I don't think it's entirely enough a reason, for Malak Abdul Makaba to want to leave the club, except there's something we're not hearing, except there's something else they're not talking about. No, I think if it's just about form, it's not enough for me.
No, let's hear this. Abdul Makaba was threatened and was pushed by Rangers supporters during the first half of the encounter. Now, at the end of the match, Abdul Makaba came forward to bear his mind on the issue, saying, and I quote, "We worked so hard, but unfortunately, things are not going the expected way. And I would like it if it's going to be possible to meet the representatives of the government of Enugu State to terminate my contract. They see me as a problem of the team. I really love this team. They've treated me so well. But if I'm the problem, I'd love to go. I'd like the termination of this contract. I'll be happy with that. You're a living witness. The problem, I don't think it's purely technical, but this is not a forum to discuss that. Well, to make it better for the team, if I'm really the problem, it is better I leave so that the team will progress." Well, is it a journal? International side. But the man thinks if he's the Jonah, then should be taken out of the boat, the ship, call it what you like. Team to progress. Meanwhile, Rangers International face Niger Tornadoes in their next game. We'll travel to Europe in a bit, but hold your peace. Let's talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League. It's now called Match Day 3, and react to the stories from there, even as we tell you this man is very, very adamant. Well, Jose Santos Pizarro is not shifting ground. He says the NPFL, or the African Cup of Nations, I beg for pardon, in Cote d'Ivoire, that's my target. I want to win that for Nigerians. Well, the other statements in this particular afternoon is that, saying, and I quote, "I won't force Chukwuemeka, Chidi Raize, Michael Olise, and others to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria." He won't force the likes of Kani Chukwuemeka plays for Chelsea, Michael Olise, and Berechese, both for Crystal Palace and others. Well, the more show the right kind of commitments to play for the team. Now, they try alongside Tosin Adarabioye and Folarin Balogun as they are eligible to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Well, in time past, the likes of Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, and Bukayo Saka were of Nigerian descent up and capped by England at senior level. Pizarro said it is important for all the players who are still eligible to play for the Super Eagles to show maximum demand and determination, wanting to play for the team and not the other way around. 090-222-310-10-27-624-565, Match Day 3 in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Share your thoughts with us. I know you want to talk about Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, Barca, Real Madrid, and the rest. Well, hold your peace for a bit. Let's talk about Nigerian football and the Nigerian Premier Football League, particularly before we cross the Atlantic and tell about the story of what's happening there. Welcome, football fan. Your name, your location. Good to have you join us. Hello.
What I want to say is that you are going to play today, and I want them to play like that throughout this remaining months that remain. Then, against our God, this is our season, and I believe that we will soon try Arsenal to become champion very soon. And that is why I can boldly tell you that nothing more you can do. They are trying our best, and they are making noise that they can beat Arsenal. But now we are proved to them that you can see the way we play the match. And that is why everybody loves it. Thank you for having me.
Well, I just allowed that because that should be the first caller. We're not in Europe yet, so let's hush it on the stories from Europe for a bit. I know you want to talk about Arsenal and the rest, but let's talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League. Akwa United winning B against National United. Dakar FC with their first loss against Doma United. Other stories: Abdul Kaba, Jose Santos Pizarro, and stories from Nigeria and Africa. Welcome. Good to have you join us, football.
I'm calling from Twitter.
Welcome, Pastor.
Hello?
Yeah.
A big to Akwa United and the technical crew. So, that was the Nigerian and good development is good. The user is the and the people and we at injury that the coach will be winning
Thank you very much, Pastor, for joining the conversation. This afternoon, you're thoroughly appreciated. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Hello, you're here now. Well, would also like the story of what the signal and reception is like from your area. Some work done here, over the weekend. Big ups to, upper management, everyone who put in the work to ensure that was successfully done. So, we'd like to get feedback from you. How's the reception at your ends and the signals? It improved? Well, we still need some fine tuning here. Let's get talking. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us.
Okay, this is JJ calling from Ulu.
Right, JJ, welcome. Good to have you join us.
I just want to tell the Man U people that what happened at this, I don't believe it. But I trust my team on.
JJ, you called earlier, right?
You said?
You called earlier, right?
No, that is my friend. I saw that time.
You sure it's your friend?
That is my friend.
Well, the voice doesn't lie.
Huh?
The voice doesn't lie. Thank you very much for joining, JJ. We appreciate you.
Okay,
All right.
thanks for having me. Bye.
All right. Thank you very much. Welcome. Good to have you. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Where do you exactly calling us from? Okay, so how's the reception at your ends? Okay, all right. Go ahead, Melody, first. In the well, maybe maybe they didn't update it. It has to be. Right. Thank you very much, Melody, for joining. We thoroughly appreciate you. Savio plays for Casapia in the Portuguese Primeira Liga. Cassiopeia broke hearts over the weekend. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us. Thanks for joining. God. How it ends? All right. Well, if that's development for you, that's fine. Welcome, football fan.
Good afternoon, Brad.
Well, sounds like
Good
Victor.
afternoon, Brad.
Welcome, Victor.
Yeah, good afternoon. Marizona and Clarence. Brad, it was a great weekend of action. Let me first started with my team just for that crucial 1 point. You know, I really need my team to do well in terms of improvement because you have seen what has happened so far in the English League, even the real standard now. So yesterday, what Arsenal did to Man U was a clear indication. Let me also thank Akwa for them stunning Akwa United. Indeed, the league is getting improved. As for the FC, I know that it is our team, but we must still support the team and keep the confidence because the NPFL front runner will be great this season. That's my thank you, Father.
Thank you very much, Victor, for joining. We appreciate you. We'll take more calls in a bit. Let's break to Europe and look at the stories from the English Premier League. We go to Facebook to look at the stories from there as well. Planet's 101 FM Sport page. Of course, the Planet Radio 101.1 FM, where we're streaming live. If you're yet to join the conversation, we'll head there. And of course, drop a comment to take them as they come. Against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Etihad. Erling Haaland 40, Erling Haaland 50 from the penalty spot, and Erling Haaland 54. He's now scored 25 goals in the Premier League season and still counting. Also, it's a barren draw there on road. Leeds United and Brentford shook hands, 0-0. It's the same story as Selhurst Park. The Victoria City, Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle United 0. Another draw, maybe not draw. Bournemouth 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Aston Villa by goal to nothing. More misery on Everton. More misery for Frank Lampard. Well, talk about Frank Lampard. The story emerging this afternoon from England is that the man is expected to be sacked by Everton. West Ham won 2-0. Jared Bowen with the crucial goal. Under fire, David Moyes' side. Talk about goals, talk about pleasure, talk about excitement, not pressure. The thing passing was Leicester City 2, Brighton 2. Well, Brighton led, Leicester came back, scored 2 goals, and just at the death, Brighton came back and got a point from that particular fixture. But it was very drab, one of the most boring games you'd see in football, maybe in 2023. That happened, yes, at Anfield. It was between Chelsea and Liverpool. Guys, let's talk about Arsenal. Manchester United were beaten yesterday. Well, the first half was a close contest, 1-1 beyond the scoreline in terms of the performance was a little here, a little there, but the golfing class in the second half was just so much. Arsenal blew Manchester United away. Any complaints?
Well, Brett, it has to be me. Well, today I'm wearing red, so you should. Well, Brett, red might be for Arsenal, but for Manchester United. But Brett, aside from that, I've been criticizing Mikel Arteta and Arsenal as a team, not having a backup striker in case something happens to Jesus. But never did I know that Nketiah would definitely come calling for against Manchester United as a backup striker with 2 goals, with a goal in that particular game. But Brett, yesterday, United gave a very good account of themselves. Yesterday I saw a team with 3 years of development against a team with 6 months of development. Also a team with 1 week of rest, and also against a team with 2 week day of rest as well. So Brett, although they lost that particular game, they gave a very good account of themselves. They went 2-2 with Arsenal. Brett, not every team goes to the Emirates to score 2 goals at the Emirates. Mikel Arteta is doing a very, very good job as well. We need to give credit to him as well. But I think United, gave a very good account of themselves, scoring 2 goals. Marcus Rashford, MBE, opening the scoring as well. So, Brett, a lot of fans coming out to say that United missed Casemiro. I don't really think they did in that particular game, because they said I was just in Wegos, just doing the midfielder job. I didn't see him, play as a point man in that particular game. So, Brett, United gave a very good account of themselves. And also, kudos to Mikel Arteta for what he has done in a team like Arsenal. We just hope they can continue and probably win the league for Arsenal fans as well, Brett.
Well, it's halfway in, and a lot of people are saying, well, no need to get too excited. If you're an Arsenal fan, don't lose your head. It's halfway into the league, but Arsenal have done pretty well. Well, they've lost just once this season in the league, and that came against Manchester United. And many say, well, they've revenged that particular loss. Well, 16 massive wins for the Gunners this season. Well, they've beaten the who is who in the league this particular season. Well, except Manchester City,
well,
they're yet to play Manchester City.
Both legs.
Both legs. Well, every other person, every other phenomenon in the Premier League, every other stumbling block, every other big team you talk about in the league, Arsenal have dealt with them massively in the league this season. Are there still shadow of doubt from your ends whether or not Emirates and Arsenal can go every step of the way?
Right, first off, they have no points to prove to anybody, not to City, not to anybody else. And then secondly, for me, they are the best team in the Premier League so far. They're the best team so far, so good in the Premier League. That's the truth.
Who is the highest scorer?
It doesn't matter. They are the best.
It does.
No, they're not. What's the problem right now? That's not the best team right now in the Premier League, and that's the conversation. Also, away from all of that, I think, at the bottom.
So, which is the best team in the Premier League for you?
Well, Brett, it has to be Manchester City.
No, they're not.
Brett, City have been doing it for the last 6 years. How many goals have they scored in the league? Who is their highest goal scorer? How many clean sheets have they kept? Right, they are second on the log.
Yeah, so how are they doing so well and second compared to this team? You're saying they're not doing so well, but at top.
Well, Brett, I will match the player 2-2. Let's look at the number of goals.
But points. It has to do with results.
Well,
okay, let's put it this way. Which of these teams have been the most consistent teams this season in the league? Arsenal, Manchester City.
Well, for me, it will be Newcastle.
All right, so we get chatting now. Before so long to tell us Antonio Conte is the best manager in this league. Yes, Mikel.
Team to come through that and the spirit to win it at the end.
But it doesn't get much better than that. I think the game was very high level from both teams. It had moments. We reacted really well to difficult moments. I think we were really mature and emotionally really controlled, and especially in the second half we dominated the game, and I think we deserved to win the game.
One of the first things you did as coach was recall Nketiah from his loan period at Leeds United. Bielsa was loving him and how he rewarded you today. Did you always see this would come from him?
I hope. I have huge belief in him. I really like the person, and I like his hunger, his determination, and his golf qualities that, in my opinion, are great for our team. And he's showing that every single day.
Saw on Wednesday night at Crystal Palace with a late goal, a late one today. Must be really hard to take for the lads.
Yes, that's true, but we have to accept it. It's football. It's about results, and you have to play until the ref is whistling 3 times for the end, and you can't switch off, and that is what we did. And just beforehand, we switching off, and then we making mistakes. We don't follow the rules, and when you don't have the discipline, you concede goals.
Do you think that was the issue today? Discipline at the end of the game?
Not only in the end of the game, all 3 goals we could avoid. We're making mistakes we normally don't make. First 2 out of a corner, and that's not acceptable. So I already told the players we will face them tomorrow as well with those mistakes, and then we continue because there is a long way to go. We are still in a really good position, but we have to take these lessons if we want to be successful.
We see the things you like to hear, but
he's real.
If you talk about someone who understands his job and understands what he wants to do, the template is there and how he wants to improve the team. Well, it's very glaring. This man sure knows his job.
Well, Brett, aside from that, I was having a discussion with Mary the other day that I don't like, his appearance. It's always too serious, for things.
He's a serious guy.
I've just seen him laugh, but as a manager, he's a serious guy.
Ask Solerex, do you want to look a coach that allows and also give you results?
Well, just put a smile on your face all the time, not all the time.
The job is always smile. The job is to get.
I think United are quite lucky to have him as a manager because he brings in mentality. Look at what he's saying. He's saying that yes, they're in good position, still in the top 4, but you have to get these lessons to be able to be successful. And that's the kind of mentality a team like United need because over the years they've been quite pampered. So he's putting them on their toes every single time, and that's why the players are performing very well at this level. For yesterday's game, well, it was just quite unlucky for them, but they put up a good performance, especially in the first half. Things didn't just end well for them in the second half. And then secondly, maybe our fault in Hagen of Vegas, because Vegas was quite ineffective in that game yesterday. But I've brought him off and then brought in maybe Alejandro Garnacho to give them some pace and attacking Vegas. He never did that due to his love of Vegas. But holistically, I think United were quite fantastic at the night, and then Arsenal were just a properly drilled team, and they showed why they are the best team in the league so far.
If you see that guy, sometimes the way he talks, you could tell that if it were possible to maybe, flog certain players, he would.
Definitely.
He's that serious. He wants it that bad. 09022310102 and 7624565. Let's talk more. Mikali Mudrik. Thank you for joining us. Name and location. Go ahead. But is it just about the players? The big players, but they're not performing. That's been the story of City. Goal. Contentious offside goal. Which other incident would you say England are trying to frustrate Man City? Which other incidences? For very much so, irrespective of what England does to City, they'll still win the league.
Will still win the league.
To City.
They said the same thing again. When Leicester said they won the league.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good afternoon, Bright, Mary, Dolores.
Yeah, UK, welcome.
Yes, I did too. Chelsea, Liverpool, that have to be the most boring match of the century.
Wow.
The only way I could see that match was I went on my phone, I opened my PS, I set up a match, Liverpool versus Chelsea. I was playing mine on my phone while they were doing their on the pitch. That was the only way I could see that match.
It does countless.
I mean, they didn't have that urgency. There was no clinical touch. There was no sense of hunger on both sides. And I don't know. The only takeaway I took from that match was Modric's introduction into the game. The guy is explosive. I mean, we need a front man like Modric, and then on the other hand, this guy to be a great link-up partner with him, Joao Felix.
Oh, Joao Felix.
Yes, Joao Felix. Yeah, on the other flank, there'll be a menace. And I believe if we get to see this same Liverpool team again with this same squad, I am very sure we're going to walk all over them. Thank you very much. For my adopted team, it's a nice streak that they are on.
Which is the adopted team? Which is the adopted team?
My London brothers. Yes, they are my brothers. So they are on the right side of London. Yes, so I love their streak. And this is the kind of streak you need to win a league. And then they are on a very good run. And then other teams like Man City, Manchester United, they are being inconsistent, which is also one thing you need when you need the league. And I think it's there to lose. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation this afternoon. We thoroughly appreciate it. Let's break here and go to Facebook. Before we do that, Mari, tell us about Mikhailo Mudryk and his debut and potentially what the future holds for this lad.
Yeah, right, a bright talent, clearly, and then he showed quality, what the Chelsea were missing, urgency, pace, in the attack. And then he came in and you could clearly see that this man was a missing piece of that Chelsea team. It was delight to see him. And I'm actually quite excited that he never flopped to the first game because there was loads of expectations on the shoulders. Loads of Chelsea fans already calling him and a hazard regen. And I think it's not entirely out of place to call him because he had pace, had energy, he could dribble. You could see that he was winning one-on-ones and of course, he was ready to do everything. He just couldn't score. He had a fine chance to score, but he just couldn't. But I think he contributed a lot to Chelsea in terms of an attacking verve. It gives them, very, very some sharpness in the attack, and that was what Chelsea have been missing. So it was good for them. Joao Felix coming back for Chelsea, but also that combination would be quite crazy for me. I hope that they leave that third position with these two players.
Wow.
Because they've signed everybody, but they're still in third position.
All right. 10th. Week out. Well, that's unchangeable. Lose or draw. 10. 10 is the goal.
They've been nicknamed 10 FC.
Take us.
Even Eric Ten Hag. They 10.
Well, take us to Facebook. Let's have a batch of comments from there very quickly.
From the live feed, Dazi Raphael says, congrats to Akwa United with the victory yesterday. Jesus Subero says on Facebook, live video is very shaky. Certainly louder, but it's not at its clearest. We'll take a look at that. Thank you very much, Joseph. He also comes back to say Chelsea is on its way back to top 4. Mark my words, it's only a matter of time. Also says Lookman has been impressive, more impressive than Osimhen, if you ask me, because he's not a top 9 and the team doesn't play for him to score. He simply turns up at the right time. Nigerian players are doing well. I pray he and Osimhen continue to deliver till the end of the season. So those are the comments from the live. Let's head to the sports page to track comments. There are 12 massive comments from this sports page. And Deacon Emmanuel Akan says, welcome to the MIC. Congrats to Akwa United. Edido Mudofia says, good day, crew. Akwa United winning away shows that they have put away the first leg loss to Bedell Insurance. They're determined to prove a point as one-time champions. Congrats to the team winning against Nasarawa. Kingsley Moore says, I really want to appreciate the planning for the job well done. Even if my club are not doing well, all I need to do is to support them to come out this hard time and rep Chelsea to rapture. Mboti Sandy says, good afternoon, sports crew. I'm getting happy again as Chelsea fan because my team is bringing the joy back. For us now, that's really shocking everybody. Kudos to them. Mogu Bosco says, I want to say that I've not fully understood the process. Big congrats to Arsenal and Super Arteta. Prince Tommy Victor says it shocked me seeing Akwa United having a clean sheet away, but as a fan, I enjoyed it. Evangelist Lawrence says whenever Zinchenko felt bored during the game, he will pass the ball to Anthony and collect it again. Israeli says, I'm cruising on a high seat till the end of the league. Kudos to Akwa United for the win. Away from home, it's Israel, the Gunners fan from Uyo. Bakayoki Patoski says, good afternoon, sports crew. I want to comment on my team Chelsea for the good performance against Liverpool. It was a very good outing. I wish them the best of luck. Alakriti Gold says, I'm pleased with the result of Arsenal. And congrats to Chelsea. Thank you, Engineer Prince Godgift. And thank you, Calvary Talk.
RB Leipzig won by Munich 1. The Bundesliga result, match day 16 of the 34 expected. Eintracht Frankfurt beat Schalke for by 3 goals nothing. Bochum saw Hertha Berlin by 3 goals to 1. Union Berlin came from minor beat Hoffenheim by 3 goals to 1. Wolfsburg 6, SC Freiburg 0. VfB Stuttgart 1, Mainz 2 5-1. Cologne was 7-1 winners over Werder Bremen. Borussia Dortmund was a 7-goal thriller at the Signal Iduna Park, where Giovanni Reina grabbing the winner after Jude Bellingham, Nico Stolzenberg, and of course Jamie Bokner-Gettens got the goals for Dortmund. Amime Adin Dimarov and of course David Colina got the goal for the visitors. Elsewhere, Mönchengladbach lost against Bayer Leverkusen by 3 goals to 2 in the Italian Serie A. There were 2 new winners over Spezia. Well, Tammy Abraham with one of the 2 goals, Steven Al-Sharawi with the other goal on the night. They solved Spezia by 2 goals to nothing. Now let's move up, look at the results. It was a 33 draw against between Juventus and Atalanta. Lookman scored twice. Angel Di Maria, Danilo, and of course Akarius Milik got the other goals for Juventus. Monza 1, Sassuolo 1. Sampdoria lost against Udinese by a goal to nothing. Torino peeped Fiorentina by a goal to nothing. Verona 2, Lecce 0. Salernitana lost against Napoli by 2 goals to nothing. Victor Osimhen with one of the goals, his 13th goal in the current league season. Well, Kevin Lookman is second in the goal scorers chat, has scored 11 times so far. Let's look at scorecard of Nigerian players and how they fared with respective clubs very quickly. Select to our time.
Yeah, Rafael Onyeka made 3 tackles and 3 interceptions as Club Brugge drew 2-2. Asisat Oshola was in action for Barcelona Femine as they won the Women's Super Cup. Calvin Bassey made 3 tackles and created a chance as Ajax drew Feyenoord 1-1. Samuel Chukwueze was in action as Villarreal snatched a late home victory against Girona. Christy Uchebe came from the bench to score as Benfica won Sporting CP 5 goals to nothing in the quarter-finals of the Taça de Portugal. Victor Osimhen scored his 13th Serie A goal of the season as Napoli defeated Salernitana. Alex Iwobi was in action as Everton lost 2-0 to West Ham. Olarum Balogun, Bright Your Friend, scored his 11th goal of the season as Rams triumph in the French Cup. Ademola Lookman bagged the brace and provided an assist as Atalanta drew 3-3 with Juventus. Calvin Epukuma was in action as Sofiam lost 3-1 to Union Berlin. Finally, William Chuseko is set to join Salernitana on loan from Woodford.
The stories from there. Check out quick transfer stories for us before we bounce. Hello, good afternoon, football fan. Take 45 seconds. Thank you very much for joining us. Transfer stories.
Yeah, Declan Rice is tilted towards joining Arsenal over Chelsea. There's also a story that Chelsea have had interest in Moises Caicedo, despite having a 55 million bid rejected by Brighton. Wolves are looking to reject the bid from Liverpool for Ruben Neves, who's 25 years of age. Leandro Trossard's agency Tottenham were in talks, but he decided to join Arsenal at the end of the day. Brian Gill plays for Tottenham. He's believed to be one of the 3 Players Tottenham are looking to offer to get Nicolo Zaniolo from AS Roma. Hakim Ziyech is talking to AS Roma as we speak to you, as he is set to leave Chelsea after having an uninspiring stint with Chelsea. There's also a story that Nottingham Forest are looking to bring PSG goalkeeper Keylor Navas, with Dean Henderson facing a spell out injured for the rest of the season. Inter Milan looking to get Chris Smalling from AS Roma as a replacement for Milan Skriniar, who is set to leave at the end of the season.
All right, now Leicester considering making a general move for to the next player, Tete. And we're here beyond Cody Gakpo, who now got, and Liverpool remain one of the clubs interested in Moises Caicedo, as Barry rightly said. Well, that should help them in central midfield. We'll talk about that a lot more when we return later tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining the conversation this afternoon. Well, you know, Monday is usually very, very busy. Well, we'll try our best, and whatever's left, would handle that later tomorrow. Thank you, Mari.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining the conversation. We'll say thank you as well. Well, we'll continue the grind here on Planet Radio 101.1 FM with you. Well, I am Bright James. Well, you know, the marathon continues. Well, for now, here and now. But we're out. Have fun.